You're ready to start the day. You're ready to get going. And you sit there and you open your task list and there's 15 things on it, 1,500 things on it. And you're staring and you don't know where to start, and you look at them, and 20 minutes later, you still haven't started on anything because you're completely overwhelmed by the list. If that ever happens to you, if that ever has happened to you, today we're going to talk about why and how to fix it. If we haven't met yet, my name is Isabel, and on this channel, we talk all about embracing your weird in order to build a better brand, business, and life. So let's go. Here's the thing. Your brain is working exactly as it was designed to. It's meant to keep you safe. And so when faced with an option, it says safe or unsafe. Is this right or wrong? Left or right? Good or bad? That's it. We evolved making very simple, very direct decisions, right? Do we eat the berries? Do we not eat the berries? That was it. That was our decision. Do we hunt down this animal? Do we not hunt down this animal? Because we're hungry, but it's large. Like, you know what I mean? Safe, unsafe. Two things. And that's the kind of brain that we all inherited. Except the world has moved on. The world has changed significantly. But our brains haven't quite caught up yet. So your brain, when you give it an endless list and you have to decide between posting this content or doing the laundry or walking the dog or buying the thing you have to buy or doing the ordering groceries or picking up your kid from school and 1,500 things, a few of them will jump out at you as more important, like picking up your kid from school. You have to do that, right? But of the tasks that don't, your brain doesn't know what to do with them. And that's not a you problem, that's everyone inherited this type of brain problem. The good news is our brain is working just as it was designed to work. The bad news is that's not really helpful. The good news though, is that we can't change our brains, but we can change our strategies and work with our brains. Your brain can suffer from something called decision fatigue. And that is, as you make more and more decisions every day, your brain gets more and more tired because it's constantly evaluating, is this safe or is this not safe? Is this safe? Is this not safe? Is this safe? Is this not safe? Okay? And it gets extremely tired. Neurodivergent brains feel it even more. People with different disabilities, whether those are different learning abilities or physical disabilities like chronic pain, autoimmune disease, feel it a lot more. Okay? But here's the thing that I want you to focus on. We get more tired the more decisions we make. When you wake up in the morning and you're like, oh, should I have coffee or should I have tea? No, I want coffee. Okay. So should I have coffee with milk or should I have black coffee? Let me try black coffee. Should I have sugar with it? Those are already 3 decisions and you have not even had your morning coffee yet, right? What to wear, what to eat, what to have for breakfast. There's a million different decisions that happen in your brain before you even sit down to work at all. So you're exhausting your brain before you even sit down to work. No wonder you're exhausted and overwhelmed all the time. But there's also a different thing that happens. And Barry Schwartz talks about this in his book, and it's called the paradox of choice. The paradox of choice basically means that the more choices we have, the harder it is to choose. So when we have 2 options, let's say coffee or tea, it's really easy to pick whether we want coffee or we want tea. But when we have a 4-page drink menu, suddenly it feels a little overwhelming to choose what we want. There's an added layer to this that is also, it's not just harder to make the decision. We tend to make worse decisions when we have more choices. And that sounds absurd when you think about it, but the thing is, our brain was not designed to compare so many things. And because our brain wants to find the best answer, the best possible perfect answer, then it's gonna compare all the things. As they start eliminating things that it can get rid of because they're not as good, but it focuses so much on the tiny, tiny details that sometimes our choices aren't better, they're worse. A while back, I made a video talking about my 2-decision method, and I'll link that video in the description below. But in it, I talked about something called the bubble sort. The bubble sort is a computer programming algorithm that is the most efficient at sorting things quickly. Now, how it works is you have, say, 5 things, right? And you need to organize them because they're out of order. Let's say it's the alphabet or numbers like 1, 2, 3. And you have 3, 2, 1. And so what you do is you compare A and B, or 1 and 2. Items 1 and 2, which are going to be A and B, right? And so you say, okay, does C go before or after A? And you say, no, C goes after. And so you switch them. And then you go, okay, does C go before or after B? Oh, it goes after. Okay, so you switch them. And then you go, does A go before or after B? Oh, they go the same. Okay, does B? Oh, look, you've already organized it, right? You compare 2 different items only all the time. And you switch them based on where they go. And because it's only 2 decisions, the computer does it really, really quickly. It's one of the simplest sorting algorithms there is. Because instead of trying to organize all the things at once, it just compares 2 things at a time, right? I talk more about it in that video if you want to watch it, but what I want to get at is this. When you only have 2 decisions to make, your brain gets a lot faster at making decisions. Have you ever seen, like Steve Jobs was someone who did this, where everyone was like, oh, he dresses the exact same way every day. That wasn't a fashion statement. That's because he was literally simplifying a decision that he had to make every morning. If you only have black t-shirts and white pants, what are you going to wear every morning? Well, a black t-shirt with a white pant, because that's what you have. And so it makes it really, really easy because you're not making that decision. That decision has already been pre-made for you. Now, caveat here. I would be incredibly unhappy if I had to wear a black t-shirt with white pants every day. I enjoy choosing what I wear every day. So if it's something that brings you joy, don't eliminate that decision. But you know what doesn't bring me joy? Choosing what I want for breakfast every day. Why does that not bring me joy? Because I have to then figure out how to make it. So pre-choosing certain breakfast options and pre-planning them, prepping them if I can, makes it really easy for me to do my breakfast every morning. So it's about finding where you can reduce those decisions in your life, right? The thing about the 2-choice method is that you can apply this to anything in your life. You can apply it to decluttering, you can apply it to organizing, you can apply it to work, you can apply it to your to-do list, anything. And it makes your brain make the decisions faster, which means you jump into action faster. You don't get stuck in paralysis, you don't get stuck in analysis, you don't get stuck in perfectionism, because you just have 2 choices and your brain is really good at making those decisions. Lately, I've been using it to organize my files in Google Drive, right? So I had a bunch of disorganized files because burnout is what it is. And I literally had a folder called To Be Organized. And everything that wasn't organized, I just dumped in there. But obviously that folder got very, very overwhelming very, very quickly. And I didn't want to go in there and organize things. And then I said, okay, 2-choice rule. I'm going to make 2 folders. One was called personal and one was called work. That was it. And I went through all the files and all I asked myself was, is this personal or is this work? And I would put it in its respective folder. When I was done with that, I jumped into the work folder and I said, is this for the pen shop? Or is this for Brand You're Weird? That was it. Actually, no, I'm kidding. I did not do that. I said, is this for the pet shop or is this something else? So I literally created a folder called Other. That's what I did. Because I have other work things. I have YouTube. I have some past work projects that could have been in that folder. Well, were in that folder actually. So I did pet shop, Other. And if it was a pet shop file, it went in the pet shop folder. If it was anything else, it went in the other folder. Once I was done, I pulled everything out of that other folder and I created a Brand You're Weird folder. And I said, cool, is this Brand You're Weird or is this Other? And I did that. Here's the thing. How did I used to organize my files? I used to sit down, think about the ideal system, perfect system for organizing my files. And I'd be like, okay, I'm going to create a folder called photos and videos. And in that folder, I'm going to create a folder for each year. And in that one, I'm going to create a folder for each month. And then in each month, I'm going to create a folder for each event that happened. And that's going to be a really good way to organize the folder. And then for, my client files, I'm going to have one file for each thing. And then for each client, one folder. And then in that folder, I'm going to have one for like their logo and one for the brand and one for this and one for that and one for each project. And if there's been like an update to the brand, then I'll have them organized by year. And I would create all of those folders. And then I would go to my files and I would say, okay, this file, Where does it go? And it was a photo from like sometime in 2004, taken I don't know where, and I didn't know what to do with it. And then I would find an idea I had for a content piece, and I would be like, okay, should I put this in social media, or should I put this in newsletter, or should I put this in blog posts? Like, is this a social media I want to do? Okay, yeah, I think this is for social media. Cool. So is this for Instagram? Is this for TikTok? Do you see how many decisions I have to make to just organize and put one file in its place? And then I would find things that didn't fit in any file. And so I would be like, oh, I didn't create enough folders. I would create more folders. Do you see how overwhelming this is? Like, I don't want to keep explaining it. Now, because I'm only making 2 decisions at a time, it is incredibly easy to sort these things. But not only that, each time it gets easier because each time the pile gets smaller. So if you have 1,000 files and you go personal and work, and let's say it's 50-50 just for, right? You go 500 files go here, 500 files go here. Once you go into the work file, you now have 500 files only. You have half of what you had originally. And then you go, okay, let's go here or here. And now you have 250 and 250. Obviously, it's not that perfect of a math, but just for the idea. And then when you go inside the pet shop file and you go, okay, is this finances or no? Now you have, 100 files and 150 files, and so on and so forth. And so each time the pile gets smaller, and so you feel like you're closer to the end goal. But also, even if you're not done organizing everything yet, you know where to find things. Because wherever you're at, it's either gonna be, if you're searching for social media stuff inside the pet shop folder, let's say, and you have created admin, finances, website, admin, website, and whatever else I said, finances, I think, are not social media. So it has to be in the other folder, what you're searching for. There is no other answer. And so it becomes really easy to find the things you are while you're still in the process of organizing things. Now, I got very carried away with that example of organizing things because I'm very excited about the fact that my files are finally getting organized. But the point I want you to grasp is how important the only having 2 decisions to make is. I'll give you a totally different example, shorter, I promise. A couple of weeks ago, or I should say over the past 2 weeks, not including this one, I had really bad migraines and or headaches, depending on the day, and the laundry piled up like no one's business. And once I was going to do it, I was immediately overwhelmed because I had everything to wash. And I was like, oh my God, what should I wash first? Because this, and I was like, no, 2-choice rule. Okay, do I want to start with clothing or linen? And I said, no, I want to start with clothing. Cool. Darks or whites? I said, okay, I think darks is more important because I think we use that more in general. Cool. Darks it is. And then I asked myself the same question. Once the washing was done, I put that in the dryer and I said, okay, cool. Now do I want to keep doing clothing or go back to linen? Oh no, linen. Cool. Towels or sheets? Towels. Awesome. Towels go in, And so reducing that reduces the entire scope of the project and therefore reduces the overwhelm and the thinking of, am I making the right choice? Does it really matter if I wash whites or darks first? No, probably not. But your brain wants to make the perfect choice, the right choice, the, ideal choice. And so it wants to find what the perfect thing is. When you only give it 2 choices, it's really clear which one is the ideal choice out of those 2. Ideal. All of this to say, we live in a world that treats overwhelm like a personal failure. When all of us live with a brain that treats overwhelm like that is how it works, because our brain was not designed to make as many decisions and to analyze as many things at the same time as it does in the modern world. We are trying to run a robot level algorithm with a human level brain. It does not work. We are not robots. And I say this on this channel all the time. We're not robots, we are humans. So the 2-choice method helps us reduce the overwhelm, but it also helps us remind ourselves that we are not robots, that we are humans, and we deserve compassion, kindness, and simple choices. Now, if you enjoyed this video, I would really appreciate it if you like and subscribe. Let me know below what thing you think you could try the 2-choice method on this week, and I would love if you come back and then let me know how it went. But this method, this rule, really helped change the way I approach doing a lot of things, and it has made my life a lot easier. So I do hope you try it. And yeah, I make new videos like this every single Friday. If you're happy to subscribe, that really helps this channel grow. Share it with your friends, share it with your family, share it with anyone who is overwhelmed by the amount of decisions they have to make. And I'll see you next Friday. Until then, stay wild, stay weird. See you next one.